And standing alongside the governor today for that announcement was my next guest. Dennis Mullen is the chairman and CEO of the Empire State Development Corporation, and he is joining me in the studio tonight. How are you?
I'm great, Liz. How are you today?
I'm well. It's always good to see you.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about this website and how it's going to work, because it kind of seems like a no-brainer.
Well, it is a no-brainer, but I think as with the private sector, where I spent many years, and coming into the public sector now, it's hard to assimilate all the information and data that we had to put together. What we did over the last 6-month period of time is take all of the economic development programs from every agency, some 35 agencies. Our agency has the direct responsibility for economic development throughout the state. It is our primary mission. But other agencies also have part of their mission an economic development component. We assimilated all this in one place, and today we launched it as New York First, and we're putting it into the marketplace so a business person can go to a single website and get all the information of all the programs that the state offers for economic development.
So you could get like energy also, tax credit information there, or other things that are involved, perhaps that are not directly through ESDC.
Let me give you an example. DOB has a program called Share Work, and they also have many programs in training. When I was in the private sector, DOB would show up, and I'm sorry, Department of Labor. Department of Labor would show up and say, "Oh my goodness, there's a regulatory agency," but it's not a regulatory agency. It also has economic development and programs that help business. So yes, you can go to this site and see what the Department of Labor would have. You can see what NYSERDA has, NYSTAR has, all the various agencies throughout the state.
So it's like a jumping off point. It's a live link that takes you then to the labor site?
It does, or we have also created as part of this site what we have defined as experts on demand. With the website, you can email us and we will respond within 24 hours to your question and help you navigate this thing called government. Whether it's, and those calls and or requests come directly to us at ESD, and we will respond. We set up a helpline to be able to help facilitate business leaders to be able to look at programs across the entire state, no matter what agency they come from.
So, you know, your agency is a little bit under fire. It has always been. I mean, it's a controversial thing because you give away, or you shouldn't say give away, you offer incentives to businesses to get them to come here to improve the economy. I mean, that's essentially what you exist to do.
What we do is, what I like to say we do, and the perspective that I have taken since I've done this job is that we are investing taxpayer dollars to give the taxpayers of the state of New York a return on that investment.
So this has actually become an issue in the governor's race, because Carl Palladino is a businessman, and he has accessed tax credits and benefits through was known actually the Empire Zone program, a controversial program that's actually now being phased out in favor of Excelsior jobs, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Right? So he gets, according to various news reports, $3 million worth of tax breaks, and he only creates 25 jobs. Now he says actually, well, I have to report to you at your agency direct development of jobs. Directly, you give me X, I create Y, but the multiplier effect of those jobs is actually more, and it's hard to calculate. Is that true?
I think so. I did not come prepared tonight to be able to talk about the specifics.
Yeah, you do not have to defend Carl Palladino. I'm just curious about the program.
And I'm not about to.
I hear you.
To try to defend Carl or anybody else. The program was designed, as you know, and has been extremely controversial, was designed over 25 years ago. And we believe, the governor believes, that it has outlived its usefulness. Thus, we have created the Excelsior program. It is possible that in this particular case, Mr. Palladino is talking about a trickle-down effect that we talk about all the time. I don't know the particulars of his exact issues, but for the program itself, whether it's connected to Mr. Palladino or other developers or other participants, we have moved on from the from that particular program, and we're moved to the Excelsior program, and we're about to announce some pretty exciting news using the Excelsior tax credit program with some businesses in the very near future.
Interesting.
We're very close.
Do you want to tell us about that?
Not at this particular time. It'll give me another opportunity to come and visit you again.
Oh, okay. That's very nice.
Maybe after the elections are over.
Oh, well, then you could tell you that you talk about whatever you'd like. I mean, this thing, though, the idea of incentivizing business using taxpayer dollars is controversial, of course, because you, as government, get to make the unilateral decision about what to do with the dollars that don't necessarily belong to you. I mean, isn't that a little bit of a dangerous proposition? I
think it could be if it's put in the hands of people that don't have good responsibility or good fiduciary understanding of how to invest these dollars. The unfortunate thing is, you know, again, coming from the private sector into the public sector and learning this over the last couple of years, is that if the state of New York did decide not to do this any longer, we'd be at a competitive disadvantage. It's, you know, it's the competitive landscape that we're dealing with many other states, not only in close proximity to us, but across the entire United States, as well as other countries.
Because it's so expensive to do business here.
Well, not necessarily because it's expensive to do business here. I've said many times, I've said it on this show and I've said it numerous times, businesses do business where they believe they can perpetuate their business plan. You know, I ran Bird's Eye for a decade. I needed proximity to market. I needed proximity to raw materials. I needed water. We used 1 million gallons of water per day per facility. I needed a whole lot of things that upstate New York gave us to be able to perpetuate our business plan. And I think a lot of businesses pick this particular state for a lot of other reasons, and it balances the scales of the challenges that we have with taxes and Wick's Law and workers' comp and some of the others. You know, it's interesting. We are, of course, in this campaign season, and Governor Patterson, in his trademark humor today, made a quip that if Governor Cuomo, Attorney General Cuomo, becomes governor, he will probably keep this initiative that you're launching today. And then if Carl Palladino becomes governor, he'll keep it because it tells you how to get tax credits. I mean, but I guess the question is, then subsequently Carl Palladino said this morning he thinks that doing away with the agency all told, with the corporation rather, all told would be a good idea. I mean, what would happen if in fact that, it would save money, of course. I mean, there would be money saved if the agency ceased to exist. I think it would be dangerous from my perspective to go in that direction. However, both campaigns have economic development as at the top of their list. They have jobs at the top of the list. That's very important. That's good to see. I'm very pleased with the progress that we have made over my tenure here. I'm pleased that we've brought good customer service, a new product that we just talked about today. And what goes on in the future will be left up to them as to how to progress. But it is great to see that both parties, both candidates, are putting economic development very, very high and considering a priority and doing due diligence on it and trying to understand how to go about it differently. Have you gotten a chance to take a look at either of their plans? Not in great detail. No? Not yet. Both of them are coming out, and they're coming out a little bit on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. The devil really is in the detail.
Sure.
And certainly we'll be very interested to see how they're thinking about it. I think in business and in government, the tools to success are being intellectually flexible, intellectually honest about some of the challenges that we have. If economic development was so easy, unemployment wouldn't be at almost double digit. It's not an easy thing to do, and I believe people want instantaneous results, and I think it's more of an evolutionary process than a revolutionary process. Have you spoken at all to Andrew Cuomo or Carl Palladino about what might happen? I mean, obviously you serve at the pleasure of the governor, right, whoever the next governor is. You've told me you would like to stay on, but you'll stay or go based on what that person decides. Well, clearly I understand that this is an appointed position by the governor. I've had a great time doing it under Governor Patterson. I would like to stay on. However, I've spoken to neither of them. Have you thought any more about running yourself? I know at one point your name was floated. Are you sorry you didn't throw your hat in the ring? I am not sorry at all. I have no aspirations to run for public office whatsoever. Never? At this point, never. Just in parting, let me ask you this. We've seen a lot of, obviously Carl Palladino is from your neck of the woods, sort of. Rochester is Western one city, and then subsequently Buffalo, about an hour still to the west. Mm-hmm. What do you think it is that makes his message, his populist anger message, so popular upstate, and yet downstate has such a difficult time understanding what that's about? I don't know the answer to that question. I think certain components of his message resonates across the state. I mean, I was in Long Island and other areas, and certain points of his message don't resonate. I don't know the answers to that. We're going to find out very shortly how well it has resonated.
Do you know who you're going to be voting for?
That is a privilege that I will hold near and dear to my heart.
I was just curious if you'd made a decision yet.
I've made a decision, but it's my privilege, and I'll hold that near and dear.
Fascinating. Well, thank you very much for coming in and sharing with us, and I'm sure we'll probably see you again in the future with these economic development announcements that you have told us about.